I started writing a newsletter in December of 2023, and it is one of the best decisions I've ever made as a creator. I was one of those people who thought that the people screaming about starting a newsletter because social media was going to end one day was just ridiculous. I still do not believe that social media is going to magically end. I do think it is going to change and that our relationship with social media should change accordingly. But I do think that there is something to owning your connection to your audience in a way that social media is not designed to do. Writing a newsletter is more than about having a place to scream into the void at people who you hope will one day buy something from you. At least in my opinion, I think to be successful as a newsletter writer, in the way that I define success, really involves caring deeply about the relationship that you have with your audience. It means caring about the experience that they have every time they open your newsletter. And most importantly, it means challenging yourself to communicate your ideas in a way that are clear, they're valuable, and hopefully fun. I think newsletters should be fun. They shouldn't be all about selling something. And I think that is the disconnect that I had for so long. Newsletters don't have to be like e-commerce emails that you get from retailers. They don't have to be these things where I give you a little bit of a piece of the pie, but tell you if you want the whole pie, you have to buy another product. I feel like email should be treated as a destination where people come for information and information fully. And if there are things that you feel like should be behind a paywall, put them behind a paywall. But don't make your email newsletter a paywall exclusively. That's boring. And who wants boring? If you're thinking about starting a newsletter, here are the things that I find have been most valuable to me. And this is as someone who just reached 1,000 subscribers. Writing is a gateway drug to writing more. So it's the best gateway drug there is. Writing this newsletter has inspired me to write poems. It's inspired me to write my first narrative films, something I didn't even think I had the capacity or creative ability to do. And it's really helped me to communicate my ideas more clearly. I had a daily writing habit before starting a newsletter, but I think that the newsletter really helped amplify that times 10. If there's something on my to-do list, why is it on my to-do list for the third day? Why am I avoiding doing it? If there's a topic that I want to discuss in the newsletter, but I haven't gotten around to it, why is that? Why is it not mature enough for me to write about? Why is the timing not right? What other pieces of this story do I need to make a compelling article? Is this something that I should partner with someone on? Is this something that I should do more research on? Is this something that deserves my attention in the first place and would be relevant to people who are reading my newsletter? I feel like I ask harder questions because if I don't, my audience will. When someone unsubscribes, sure, I could put in an unsubscribe survey and see why they unsubscribed, but ultimately, the reality is that they felt like their journey with you and the value that you could provide them in their inbox has ended. At that point, regardless of what the answer is, it's too late. You should be continually thinking about, how do I win the payoff of the subject line, the preview text, and the first sentence that people read? How do I win getting them not just to open the email, but to read it all the way through, to engage with it, and to feel satisfied that they spent their time well? I also think that writing is the foundation of all creativity. And email newsletters to me are a visual medium. There's a certain level of design that I feel makes a great newsletter. There's a certain level of personality that you can add to your newsletter that I feel like makes it better than just an educational or sales email. I think words are often helped by photos, by videos, by GIFs even, and that we are better for the effort that we put into making an email as clear as we possibly can. Writing this newsletter has helped me write better YouTube scripts. It's helped me understand where I can inject comedy or my personality. It's helped me understand the natural breakpoints for a call to action or an ad. And it's helped me understand how to create a flow within a script that feels natural. I'm still a freelancer. It's helped me get better at pitching my ideas. One, pitching them to myself and proving to myself that I have something that's worthy of being a story and that's fleshed out and that feels mature, but also pitching them to partners, potential collaborators, and even brands. Still working on the brand partnership stuff, but I do feel at least like I'm putting together something that feels succinct, it feels clear, and it feels ready for a conversation. And I think that can be the hardest part of going from freelancer to content creator, or even going from solo creator to agency owner, where you're working with a team, you're working with a crew, is communicating your ideas. What ideas are worth pursuing? Why is now the time to pursue these ideas? And who can we best get in the room to help us make this idea, this concept, or this premise the best that it can be? I think people undervalue relationships. And let me explain. I think that social media has been conflated with community building for so long that we haven't actually thought about what it means to be in community with people. Community is about mutually beneficial relationships. Community is about connection. So how can I use this newsletter to attract the right people to me who are interested in the things that I'm interested in and who I can help through my expertise or access? And who are the people that, I'm able to learn from? What ways am I giving back to a community that has supported me, that gives me feedback, that supports my work, that shows up to me, that shows up to my sessions at conferences? And I think that's important to think about. Even with less than 1,000 subscribers, people walk up to me on the street. They walk up to me at conferences. They walk up to me at events. They introduce themselves. They tell me, I read your newsletter every week. I love it. This has really helped me with this. And to me, that is like the most fulfilling thing ever, that I'm writing something that makes people feel seen and that helps them along their journey as creators and as entrepreneurs. I think that's so important. At first, I started writing because it was something that I wanted to see in the world, but now it feels like I'm writing because I understand the value that it brings me intrinsically as a creator and as a writer and as a producer, but also the value that it brings other people. And to me, that means everything. That means more than having 10,000 subscribers. Heck, I feel like I have 10,000 subscribers. And I think we'll get there one day. But even with less than 1,000 subscribers, I think the value of writing on a regular basis, it doesn't have to be 2 to 3 times a week like I do because I'm a maniac. It can be once a week. It can be once a month. But as long as you're writing something meaningful, often and regularly, I think that the benefits will pay off so much. And I can't recommend it enough. I wrote an article about why I switched from Substack to Beehive and compared those two platforms, along with the other newsletter platforms that I considered moving to once I realized that publishing on Substack wasn't the best option for me. I'll leave that in the link below so you can check that out. And I write Please Hustle Responsibly, which is a newsletter for creators to learn, connect, and grow. And I would love to have you as part of that community. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.